Hello everybody! There's a new update for Legends of Kingdom Rush. As you can see here in the bottom right, there were 74 out of 84 achievements for me to unlock, so that means that I've got some work to do. So, let's start this up and load the middle save slot here, because that's the main one that I've been using. And there you have it. I've just unlocked a new game mode, the Arena. So, I don't know if this game mode here is unlockable at some point throughout the campaign when you progress in the game, or if you just get this automatically as soon as you have Legends of Kingdom Rush. So I'm not sure how you access that, but there's nothing new that's been changed about the map, so I don't believe that there are any story mode content updates. However, when it comes to content updates, the arena mode has a lot to offer here. So first of all, we have the quick play arena. So let's look at that first. When you click this, it's going to randomly generate for you a party with different diversifiers. Now these diversifiers are, excuse the pun, diverse. There's lots of different options that you can get here. If you roll this around here, you'll get different options. So you can see here that you can have a friendly one, and there's a green arrow next to this hourglass, if you can see that pointing up, to indicate that this is going to be helpful to your party. So this is going to reduce the cooldown of the skills of everybody in the party. That's going to be really handy for certain characters. And then this one here, Orcish Forge, this one has a red arrow pointing down next to the icon to show that this is helpful to the enemies. Or it could be just detrimental to your allies. Either way, it's going to have a red arrow pointing down. So this gives everybody +3 armor as long as they're an enemy. There's also the difficulty setting. Now this, if I put it on here, nothing's going to change about the party members or the diversifiers. But it is going to change the enemies that spawn here. I believe you might just get slightly less enemies, and some of them that could be replaced with an easier version of the enemy might get replaced that way. So let's just go ahead and start with the current conditions that we've got here. So here we are at the arena. You can see that this is very similar to Crimthax Dominion, except now we have different types of creatures that are here in the arena. We've got orcs, we've got barbarians, well, humans just overall, some more orcs, some trolls, more orcs and goblins, humans, orcs and goblins, humans, trolls, orcs and goblins, specifically gingers, and then one orc back here, which might actually be an ogre. So, the types of races that you get here are just like the main first 3 ones that you get in Kingdom Rush 1. But anyways, you want to look at all of the enemies that you have to face here, and that can be tricky when you don't have access to the full queue. As you can see here, my 4 party members that I've got, they all are taking up space on the queue, and the queue can only have 8 things at once. So as you can see here, the goblins that are at the front here, these are the only guys that I can see that have a turn so far, and I can't see the turns of the other enemies yet. So I'm gonna have to plan my strategy with those things being a mystery. Luckily though, I know that there's nothing modified really about the enemies. I can hold down the heart icon up here at the top left, and I can see that their health is the same. It's just that they have more armor now. And so I can rely on the information that I know from playing the campaign in order to keep myself safe. Like for example, I know that orc archers have 6 effective range because they can move up by 2 and then shoot by a further 4 spaces. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So as long as I am not here in this hex or any of the ones that are equally close to the orc archer, I'm going to be safe from getting attacked by that enemy. However, I know that demons can move up by 1, 2, 3 spaces. So I also don't want to be in range of him. So what I can do is just move back and then shoot this orc here, which is actually a goblin. Likewise over here, there's all sorts of methods that I can use to kill these enemies. So I'm just going to throw a mud ball here at this demon and stall him there. Now as for the orc, unfortunately he's probably just going to have to take some damage. The thing is, with this arena here, with this set of enemies, unlike the campaigns where you actually want to prevent your units from getting hurt as much as possible, the conditions that you are in here are just contained within the one combat scenario. So your units getting damaged here isn't going to affect them the next time you play, or any time after that. So you're free to let your units get as battered and full of afflictions as you want, because they'll be fine. So now what I'm going to do is zap his armor. So there we go. And now that I have 3 armor, I can actually tank any damage that he sends my way. So that's pretty nice. I'm actually going to attack him with this and see if it kills him. Oh, and it does. Okay, nice. So I was safe either way with that. So unfortunately, Olok doesn't really have any good skills. He's the kind of hero that you want to get to level 3 right away because his summons are so good. So right now I can't really do anything, and I don't want him to get damaged. Even though there aren't really consequences outside of getting damaged, I don't want to get damaged too soon because I still want to win, right? And there's a lot of enemies to plow through if I want to do that. So instead, let me think about who's going to be where after this. So he's going to move up probably, or possibly here, but probably here. Yeah, the demon's probably going to go to one of these hexes, so that way he can also be close to killing Olok. And everything else I think is fine, so I'm actually just going to leave him there. So here come all the enemies. There's also environmental features, just like the poke oak and other things that are kind of neutral. That thing here is going to be capable of damaging anything that's adjacent to it, as you can tell by the spinning blades here. And there's a couple of effects that you can probably guess what they do, just based on the animations. So there we go. Now we're done with that. Alright, so I'm skipping ahead here to showcase that I've gotten pretty far into this fight here, and this enemy is just about dead. Just need to move my units over. In fact, I'm going to kill him with the poop. So there we go, get pooped. And there we go, that's the end of that combat scenario. So I got victory, and now at the end of the arena, I'm going to get to show, or I'm going to get to see all of my stats here from winning this little arena match. So as long as I survive, I get some points. You can also get points for not having any heroes die, but then you also get points for the remaining amount of heroes. So let's say that the arena only gives you 1 unit to work with here, then you're not going to get as many points from this, but as long as you're alive, you're going to get this, so that's nice. Flawless encounter, so you can beat it without taking any HP damage. I did actually beat the encounter with all of my units at full health, and so there's not really a bonus that works here if you got hurt. However, you do get a bonus for having full health by the end of it, so healing does matter in terms of your points at least. Then you get bonus points for triggering epic effects for enemies getting hit by hazards. That includes that spinny thing that you saw there, so environmental features count on top of like TNT barrels and the like. Enemies defeated, so there were 13 enemies, so I get points for that. Elite enemies defeated, so we haven't seen any of those yet, but there are a couple of new elite enemies that I'll be showcasing eventually, as soon as I find them. It's going to take luck for them to show up here, so bear with me with that. Double kills, so this is the number of times that I killed 2 enemies in a single turn here. Now the Zapper actually killed 3 enemies if I'm not mistaken, but I'll have to check the recording again just to be safe. And then all of the following points are just for triple, quadruple, and then overkills for having quintuple. So there we go. Now that you've seen what a single arena can be like, I'm just going to go to quick play again, and as you can see, this different situation here. I just happened to get the same, like some of the same party members with Olok and the Orc Cleaver, who also happen to be all at level 2 just like before. But as you can see, there are new diversifiers, so you're going to get to experience all sorts of things when you keep on playing this. Now you see I have an entirely different set of units. I do this, look at how many units there are now. And some of these effects on the diversifiers are really dangerous. +1 speed to all enemies is possibly the most dangerous thing I could imagine. Now you see this diversifier here, it has no arrow going either way. This is evidence that it's a neutral effect, so it's either equally good and or equally bad for both sides of the fight. So I'm not going to start the next one. Instead, I'm going to go to the daily challenge. So as you can see here, there's no option to re-roll or change the difficulty. And this daily challenge here is going to give everybody the same exact situation. So everybody's going to have these party members here. I can't hold down on their icons here to get any more information about them. So I don't know which abilities they're going to have randomly generated for them going in here. As you can see here, everyone's going to have these effects. So some of the enemies are going to start asleep. And there's going to be explosive barrels that spawn again and again. I can also click on the leaderboards here. Let's go to global and see. So everybody's gotten some points already. I believe this is the real Morgan, who's placed on the leaderboard himself. So there's plenty of people that have already been playing it here. Let me see. This is a familiar face. Let me just show them off in front of everyone to the world. The Legend, I don't know who that is, but that's a nice username to have for Legends of Kingdom Rush. So this is going to give you a score based on the same criteria that you saw on the other challenge that is showcased. It's just that now everybody's dealing with this daily challenge, so you're all going to have to compete here. So I'm going to explain some of the stuff here on this like randomly generated situation, and then I'm going to do post commentary for the rest of it because some of this stuff is kind of complicated. So as you can see here, the first unit in my queue is the Sorceress. So I believe that this is going to be the same for everybody, and so you you're going to have to start with the Sorceress as well when you play this. And you're also going to get the same exact stats. So she's going to be at level 2, and she's also going to have Punishing Curse as her second, well, this is her third skill, but it's her level 2 skill. And there's always, at least 2 options for a skill for a unit at each level. And so, for example, the Bombardier, she could either have this napalm shower, or she could have that missile that she can shoot. So it randomly chose her to have the napalm shower instead, which has been buffed. And everybody who plays this is going to have that same skill. Let me see what else is over here to look at. So as you can see, there's all these enemies. These enemies are all going to be placed in the same spots and have the same order in the queue as well. So I believe all of this stuff is going to be exactly the same. Now, as for the enemies that are randomly asleep, I don't know if that's going to be the same every single time as well. In fact, I might be wrong about all the other stuff that I just said as well, but from what I've seen, it seems to be the same. So let me know if that's not correct. Now, as for the actual combat scenario, all we have to do is make sure that we survive. I don't personally care about getting very high up on a leaderboard. I'll let you in on a little secret about myself. I'm not very competitive, so I don't care too much about doing better than other people or anything like that. I dealt with that enough at school, so I kind of hate doing that. But if you like it, more power to you. So now I'm just going to go through a process of counting nodes and making calculated decisions. So I'll be right back. Alright, I am back and I am cursed with hindsight. So there's actually not that much to say. I personally think that watching gameplay of Legends of Kingdom Rush is kind of a tricky thing because the game is so slow. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, it's a very fun game, but you can't argue with the fact that it's pretty slow since you have to spend so long making decisions and stuff. And so I'm not going to focus too much on the actual gameplay and decision making here. Instead, I just want to answer any possible questions that you might have about the arena. One thing that I'm not going to be talking about just yet is the numerous amount of balance changes that have come out with this update. I'm just going to cover that in a different video to keep things more organized. And so let me just focus on all the questions that you might have about the arena. So you only get one shot to play this ranked version of the arena. So if you forfeit, lose, win even, or exit out of the app partway through, then you're going to lose the chance to play this at all. So you want to make sure that you win on the first try and do as well as you can. In terms of the score here, again, I don't really care too much about getting a good score, but if you're trying to maximize yours, something to keep in mind is that the number of turns that you take in order to actually beat this is going to factor into your score, and it's going to reduce it over time. So this arena awards you for, well, getting lucky for one, because there's so much RNG in this game, and also for taking risky moves. So you want to take riskier moves and then get lucky so that you can get a really high score. I imagine that all the top scorers on the leaderboard on a daily basis, besides the hackers, are going to be the people that took the riskiest moves and then got lucky afterwards. So that's another reason why, personally, I don't care too much about competing, because I'm basically competing with RNG. But anyways, let me showcase something here in the gameplay before I continue. You see here that you can use Bruxa's Skull Sacrifice ability, and it will distribute itself to other enemies. Now, I could have gotten a triple kill there if I had just happened to hit this Troll Chieftain or Troll Champion as well, but I didn't. However, I did kill one of the other enemies, so I did get a double kill just based on that, and therefore I was able to kill 2 enemies in 1 turn rather than having to use 2 turns for 2 enemies. So that could have gone all sorts of different ways, and therefore that's an effect on my score that's going to be different for other people, even if they were doing the exact same thing as me. Now, back to the frequently asked questions that I imagine will happen here on the score. Certain things are going to matter more for your score than others. So, for example, I imagine that the epic effects are going to be not as big of a deal as getting like multiple kills. So even though those are both like skill-based things that you can do throughout the combat scenario, you are going to get more points for doing some things than others. So I also imagine that it's going to matter more for you to have as many units alive as possible, especially because those bonus points are going to stack. Also here, I was having a conversation with my mom, and so I forgot that using Rocket Jump is going to cause knockback on those environmental effects, and the fact that the knight was in range of it. So I basically screwed myself over because I just healed her and now she's missing HP. So rest in peace to my score. Anyways, though, that's pretty much all that I can think of in terms of the arena. So just make sure that you don't quit on the first try or anything like that, because that's your only try. Your first try is your last try. Also, make sure to try to use the environment and to trigger epic effects as much as possible. Make sure that you don't take too many turns to beat it. And in general, just don't get too upset if you don't have enough luck in order to actually get the best score that you can, because you don't have the burden of it being a skill issue. It's just a luck issue. And I think everyone experiences luck issues at some point in their life. So anyways, stay tuned for the balance changes that I'm going to showcase afterwards. I could also showcase more of these arena matches where I focus on the gameplay for real here. It's just that these things reset every 24 hours, and so it could become like a little daily thing that I do on top of Kingdom Hearts Science, as long as I have things to talk about. There we go, I got an achievement called Underdog. So I'm also going to be playing this at least a little bit to showcase hunting all the achievements, because you definitely want to do that. It's going to take a couple of days to get that, since some of these are based on the ranked leaderboard here. But anyways, there you go. You can see me amongst the leaderboard. You can see all the different awards that I got here and how that affected my score. If I had gotten the same awards but done this in less turns, then I would have gotten a slightly better score than the one that I currently have. But that's about it. So, have a good day, everybody.